All right, today is January 14th, 2021. This is the Lake Management Committee meeting. The time is 7 o'clock. All meetings of the Lake Management Committee are recorded. Meeting notices pursuant to Governor Baker's March 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Lake Management Committee will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with the right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Office of the AG webpage at mascot.gov. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted. The town will persevere to use conference call capabilities regularly for other parties to listen in and participate accordingly. If not possible, we will post on the town's website an audio recording as soon as possible after the meeting.
Okay, so we'll go through the attendance. Norm,
Here.
Mike Coombs,
Here.
Malcolm is not, Mike DeBay,
Here.
me, I'm here. Scotty, here.
I'm here.
Annie's here. Deb is not. Eric,
Here.
Paul Murphy,
Here.
okay, and Ken and Rick are not. So we've got a quorum, and we can get started here. Let me just get to the agenda on my sheet so I can read at the same time. Okay. And I've got my notes. So we need to read and approve the minutes from the December 10th meeting, which are in draft form. And he's got up on the screen.
Oh, we should mention that there is a guest. Jerry is here also.
Yes, I wrote him down. Jerry Patria
Okay.
is here. Yeah. We have any
Dick, I read
comments
the
on them?
meeting. I read the minutes. This is Mike DeBay. I read the minutes the other day, last week here when they came out. I didn't see anything wrong with them. So unless somebody's got a problem, I'll make a motion. We accept them the way they're written.
Okay.
I have one minor thing. We've addressed this a couple times. I should be listed as a voting member.
I thought that was fixed on there.
I thought that was fixed too.
It still shows that I'm not.
Yeah, I
No.
noticed that too.
Oh, I went too far. Okay, I have it fixed on my minutes that I'm doing right
Okay.
now. But I will change that. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll open up a meeting from like a long time ago just to write the minutes super quick. And sometimes it just gets one of the old minutes. So, but I do have it saved now, okay?
Yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Yep.
You changed the voting to yes, right?
So we have
Yes.
a motion from Mike D. A second from somebody?
I'll second it. Mike Coombs, second.
But and by the way, real quick, it also shows Rick Weiler as an associate, but he's a voting member.
He's a,
No.
no, he's not. He's associate.
I know that, but it says on
Yeah.
the minutes, he was a voting
Not
member.
the one I'm looking at.
The one I'm meeting is the minutes of the meeting held December 10th, 2020.
I'm looking at it on the screen.
So
Okay.
am I. It says Rick Weiler, associate, voting, yes.
That's
It
what
does say
mine
it
shows
on the
too.
screen.
Yeah,
Okay,
Oh,
yeah, he's right. He's right. It says voting yes.
Yeah, he needs to just swap that with Paul Murphy.
yeah. Okay. So we'll fix that. And so we have a second, Mike Coombs, all in
Mike Coombs,
favor?
second.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Unanimous. I need to run down the vote though. So Norm,
Yes.
Mike Coombs,
Yes.
Mike DeBay,
Yes.
me, yes. Scotty,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Paul Murphy.
Yes.
Okay. Unanimous it is. Okay, so the next thing, 7 to 9 Lakeview Street, just an update. I got an email, which I gave you a copy of in there, requesting rental of dock space. Did you see that?
Yeah, and I was happy to see that you told them to go to the two marinas.
I said, go to the two marine, or he did. No, I sent him, I said, there are 2 marinas there. That's me.
Yeah,
But he's been renting from him before.
correct.
Or where are we? Annie, can you just pull that up so we're all looking at it at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was one of the officers, a reserve.
Boys like renting from homeowners or the Cove in the past.
Yeah,
Two places you're not allowed to rent from.
right. So anyway, just, you have it there. There's no action on it right now. I'll quickly ask, Paul, any update? Have you seen anything on 2021 for 84 Point Grove? Anything come up yet?
There's things in the works. We're talking to the DEP in Boston,
Okay,
and it's still an ongoing issue.
okay. We can just make a note that's in the works. DEP's involved.
Yes.
641 Forest Road, just an update there. Concom sent out letters and they're supposedly going to file this year. That's on the point at the sandbar, Connecticut side. And it's got many docks, floats, all kinds of stuff, and no permits for anything.
What
By
is
the
the
way,
address
Do
again?
you
I'm sorry.
do you realize he's dead?
I was
He
just
did
going to
pass?
say,
He died.
yes.
Okay,
Well,
but
someone-
whoever's living there,
Someone
Well, his widow.
I think his daughter is taking care of the paperwork, from what I
Okay.
understand.
All right.
What is the address again?
641 Forest. It's the one, it is right on the, it's listed on the agenda, but at any rate. And then the next one, 101 Lakeview, they had a variance requested, and Mike DeBay, asked if we could continue that to this meeting. And before we get to that, I went right by where I had a note to myself for Norm for an update on Concom, because that may have come up with Concom.
Okay, yes, it did come up on Comcom. The December 21st meeting was canceled from the January 4th meeting. It came up, and I told them that we had not yet made a decision on that subject of 101 Lakeview,
Okay,
and we would have an update for the next meeting.
all right.
Also, it was announced, as you already knew, that 156 Berkshire Ave dock had been removed. And I had submitted, based upon our last meeting, that 43 Chestnut and West Suffield dock and boat were in the water. They have since been removed. So
Okay,
those
that's
were the
good.
only updates from Conservation Commission
Excellent. Okay. So let's go,
that impact us.
we go back to 101 and discuss that. Paul was going to try and take a look at the availability of a space where they could put the dock if they replace it, because that's what they said they were going to do last year. Last year was to 2020 being last year was to be the last year for a variance request.
Right.
And it's now 2021, they've submitted a request. So
Yep.
I asked Paul if he could see from the end of maybe Veteran Street or something like that, whether there was sufficient space to put a dock down at the shoreline out of the water.
Well, if they're going to replace the docks, it would depend on the size of the dock that they put in.
Yeah.
There is some space there, and it could be used. I know I could do it.
Yep.
but I work a little differently than a lot of people.
Yeah, I would think, just looking at it from Google Earth, that they could use like aluminum docks with legs.
Absolutely.
Then you can stack them.
Right.
And if they're only 4-foot docks, I would feel that there is room.
Oh yeah, 2 people can pick up a 4-foot dock.
Yep.
That's.
I would feel
10 feet
better if
long.
other people looked at it also.
All right.
Well, I guess the question is, the docks are still in. They don't have
Yeah.
a permit to leave them in. What's going to be done?
Well, we have to make a recommendation.
All right.
Well, right
Wait a
next,
minute, wait a minute. Haven't this been in for years?
yes.
But not,
Okay.
but I can tell you that I looked on Google Earth, and you've got copies of the Google Earth shots by year.
Yeah.
And the dock appeared in 2012 Google Earth. It was not there in the 2010 Google Earth.
Okay.
So and there was this little stub dock there. Probably looking at it from Google Earth, I'd say it was maybe 10 feet long. I think it is still there. You can still see it, this little thing. I'm not sure who actually owns that one. But if you look at the pictures, I've got 101 labeled. You can see the short one.
Yeah.
And it kind of looks like it belongs to the house next door. But definitely 101 is that one that's got a wide end on it. Like a platform.
Okay. I thought it was the next one over.
Yeah, no, it's that one.
The application they put in last year that got approved for 1 year, and that carries them into this summer because it was signed on June 1st of 2020.
Yeah,
Says that it shows the 2 docks. It shows an 11-footer, and then it shows a 20-footer.
okay, so those are both theirs then.
That's what it shows on the app that they had for 101.
Okay,
So they're basically covered to go into this summer, but the question is, they're asking for a renewal for the variant so they don't have to yank them out again. So the question becomes, is there really a hardship, or is it they just don't want to yank them out of water?
well, they're,
Is that the dock that they wanted to put a 3rd dock in?
no,
I never heard that.
not that I know of. I've never heard that.
Okay, I thought the guy over there wanted to put a 3rd dock in.
No, this particular person was claiming that it would ruin the lake if they pulled them out and.
Oh, yeah.
And it would affect the muskrats that are living in
Yeah,
there or something.
Yeah, the poor muskrats.
3 excuses.
Well,
So what's
I would
what's
would prefer
consensus?
that we got a better look at the situation.
All
I
right,
agree with you, Paul. I was thinking of calling them actually because their telephone number's on here. Last time I visited somebody's docks, I got in trouble, so I don't want to do that again. So I'm like, okay, what's the?
I'll go with you.
I mean, you got to go look at them. I just want to make sure we got permission from the landowner so I don't run into the same issue as last time we walked by and looked at them.
Exactly.
okay.
So,
So we'll hold it for the next meeting. Because
No, hold on a
obviously
second.
they're not going to do anything now, you know.
all right, I got,
The
I got,
only
I got a little
question I
more
would have,
update.
Dick, is that, make sure they put the cones out on them though. That is one of the requirements, so
Right.
that was in the letter. Just because they. stick
Norm,
out.
you had something?
Yes, I do. There's some confusion from last June. It was on the June 1st agenda for Conservation Commission.
Mhm.
That was the only meeting that I have missed since I became the liaison. On the next meeting, June 15th, where they approved the minutes, there was nothing in the minutes about 101 Lakeview. So I don't know what happened.
Huh.
And there's no record of it. I do know that it was signed, and you've all seen that. Okay.
Yeah.
I
But
believe there was
the
a,
rule-
I believe there
rule
was
is-
a letter sent by Dennis on June 8th with
Well,
all
it's
the
not,
particulars.
it's not part of the record though, Jerry.
I understand. But,
Okay.
and in fact, I think you guys have a copy of it in this, read.
Yeah, I
file.
think the key is what's going to happen in 2021, personally.
Right, exactly.
Well, let me finish now.
Sure.
Yeah,
The normal, yes, it is an annual approval. It's supposed to take place. But in the past, I believe we have agreed that if there is a hardship of removal, then it can stay in there until they have to replace it because of the poor condition of the dock. I believe that's what we've done in the past.
and if it's not an impediment, it does not impede navigation.
Right. So I think our precedence has been in the past to continue to approve these until they remove it because of deterioration.
Well,
But we also have to consider whether or not it looks like, and that's where if Mike and Paul can go look at it, see what kind of condition it's in, because if it's going to break up and leave pieces of wood all over the ice, that's the problem. That's where a couple of them have been pulled for that alone.
Yeah, but he has a valid point, Dick. This is Mike DeBay. He has a valid point. If it's been approved once, we shouldn't go back and revisit it every year. Is that the real policy, to go back every year for everyone that's got a?
no, we don't do that.
No, we don't.
But this one's unusual because they're normally not created with this 1 year time limit.
That's what I thought. So that's why I'm asking the
So
question.
I have a feeling that this was created with a 1 year time limit for a reason, like maybe.
Yeah, because I can explain that.
Yeah,
The property was sold. The original owner was the one that we were dealing with, and then it got into the sale, and so it kind of happened midpoint, because the original property owner said he would remove the dock, just in verbal discussions, after 2020.
Okay, so this is unique then, this one.
It's a little unique because it's not the same owner. If you go look at owner of record, these people bought it, I believe, in 2020.
Okay.
Either
My
late
hardship
2019
is-
or early 2020.
My hardship is there's no public record of that on file.
Yeah.
Norm,
we'll let.
when they did the site inspection here at my place, weren't they at that dock before they came across to me?
Well, they were at several docks over there. I don't
Yeah,
know
we-
if it was that one or not.
We made.
I
remember that, Jerry?
I'd have to, you know what I can do, Norm, is I can make sure Jeannie knows about this discrepancy and maybe have her amend the minutes, just so it's on public record.
Yeah. Or maybe
Or at
she can
least-
find
At least
notes.
attach that June 9th letter to them, explaining that they have a 1 year situation going, but. agreed,
Right.
Well, it would be nice to see that letter.
Oh, you have it in
We
your
have
file right
copies
here.
of it. I'm sorry.
It's right in here.
Can we go forward on this, on the screen?
Scroll down and you'll see
Scroll
it.
down.
Yeah. It's a letter from Dennis, dated, June 8th, I believe, to the Koss family.
That's correct.
Right there.
June 8th.
Assuming they're the new owners, the Koss family.
Yes.
Yeah. And it, has,
Okay.
and it
Okay.
specifies reflective cones, etc.
Right.
Okay.
Personally,
Somehow I
I think
missed it.
that kind of information, this is just me. We did it before. That kind of information, the specifics should be on the variance, not a letter that carries the variance. The variance should stand alone.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that has been the case for most of them. But this one
And-
is another one where we have a letter that's hanging out there in space.
Yep. And
Yeah,
I
if-
agree. The minutes should reflect what truly happened too.
Yes.
Okay. I'll
absolutely.
make sure that's known.
Jerry, if you're
Okay.
gonna let people know things, this is Mike DeBay. One of the
Mike.
things I've noticed is every time we see a request for a variance, it never explains what the hardship is. It just
Right.
kind of reiterates what's already on the variance generic package. And they
Okay.
should be in detail. Here's my problem. This is why I'm asking for it. So it
Yeah.
makes sense to everyone.
Not just because.
Okay, I'll make a note.
Okay,
Well, we
So-
have had a few where the people said it was a hill and they had a hardship
yeah,
lifting the
Yeah.
ducks up on the hill.
that's an explanation.
Right.
Okay, so
Okay.
let me ask a question. Do I have the action then to get with Paul and go look at it again?
I think it would be a good idea to go look at it again, if you call them.
Well, I'm definitely calling him before I walk
yeah.
out there after the last one.
Okay,
I'll go with you. We'll be fine.
yeah. All right, if we can move on.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Let's see, that's all 101. Now, okay, now I want to go to, let me just get to the next one here. Was that, a couple things happened with the permitting program notice. You've got the one that was work in process. Jeannie has just finished that with the
I thought we
corrections.
were done updating this, or we're changing it again?
It's the letter, and what got added also is, remember we talked about having people sign for getting the rules?
Yeah, and the decision was don't do that.
Yes.
They're gonna initial it. They received that package. Because the police were adamant about that otherwise they're just gonna keep giving out warnings.
I'm confused because we asked the police chief about this, and the feedback was, don't bother, it doesn't make any difference.
Right.
There's going to be a change there.
Because
Right.
we discussed this at like 3 different meetings and asked 5 different people, and the feedback was, don't bother, it makes no difference.
He said they won't read it anyways.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was, so I'm fine with it. I'm just completely surprised because we spent a ridiculous amount of time discussing this, and everybody we asked said, don't bother, including the chief of police. So why is this all of a sudden the exact opposite?
Well, part of it was, if you think back when we first started talking about it, the issue was people said, well, I didn't know. And then they get a warning.
Yeah, I know.
And they don't track the warnings, which is a problem because if Johnny gets a warning on the 1st of May and then gets another warning on the 15th of May, there's nothing
Yeah.
that says he got a warning on the 1st of May.
Sure.
And if you're gonna operate on the lakes, you should at least say that, yes, I did get them. If I didn't read them, that's not, that's nobody's problem except the person that received them.
All right. Well, that's
Dick,
fine.
this is the same
So I-
information we had before. This is exactly the same conversation we've already had. Did the chief change his mind? If he did, that's fine. Just, why are we doing this unless the police chief changed his mind? Because he was adamant before, it made no difference to him whatsoever.
I will query him. Okay?
So I'm not seeing, are we supposed to right now be looking at a new blank sheet that we want people to fill out for LPP? Because that's not what's up here.
No. That's what's up here is the letter that carries the explanation of the LPP.
No.
What page is it on?
It's just before the keep going. The attendance pay.
Keep going.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. More.
Still on the variance.
Yeah, you got to
We did
go
talk
past all
about-
those.
Going.
I'm going. My computer's from 2013, sorry.
Hey, I'm a lot
There.
older than that.
got
I'm
it.
faster.
That's it.
Okay, so what's different?
All they did was clean up some stuff. You can see where lines have been stricken.
Oh, yeah.
Shortened it.
Okay, fine.
All right. So then the next thing that we have to Oh, and the lake level was 220. This is, thanks, Mike D. He measured it on the 10th, and it was 224, 7.5 inches on January 10th. That's good because it's coming down. It was at 224.9 back before the beaver dams left.
So one thing to keep in mind, we do want to enter the year a little high.
Yeah, but that is high right now. It's still high.
Yeah, no, I know, but, and one of the things, when I say a little high, in other words, look not at the mean level, but at the level for this time of year.
Yeah.
So like there's that graph that I produce, you know, where you can look at it and there's I don't have it in front of me now, obviously, but you know, there's a curve there, and this time of year we should be high.
Yeah.
You know, versus mean levels. So let's look at that. The reason I'm cautioning is just if we wind up with a dry year, if we don't enter high, we'll wind up way low.
Yes. Yes.
And we enter high usually every spring because
Yeah.
of the waterfall. Yeah. that's
Right.
Right, but we need to be careful to make sure, because for example, if we don't get any more snow, then that makes a big effect.
Yep.
You know, where
Yeah.
if the snow load makes a big effect. So I'm just saying we do want to be cautious to make sure at this point that we're more towards the high side for now.
Yeah.
Is the norm 224.5?
Yes, that's the nominal.
But that's the nominal. That is not the norm for a particular.
For this time of year.
You
Oh,
know,
okay.
you-
But I want to make you aware that those are tenths.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah,
inches.
0.5.
Correct.
Yeah, tense,
Right.
tense.
Right, we know that, but Mike's reading of 7.5 was not tenths. That was.
That was
inches.
inches.
That's why I
Okay.
spell it out on it. Yeah.
So it's 1.5 inches high.
Roughly. Yeah.
Yes,
Right, but it's actually not high for this time.
because of
year.
this time of year.
That's why I caution using the words 1.5 inches high, because then people think it's high. It's not high. It's actually
Okay.
a little low.
Yeah. When it was 224.9, that's high because then the ice starts pushing on the shore.
Right, but
Yep.
but again, what we need to do is look at it for the time of year.
Yeah.
And we've got, you know, in that graph, I've got like 12 years of data. So there's, you know, because it's different each year, of course. So
Yeah.
it gives us a pretty good idea. But, you know, if we start getting lots of snow, then I'll be a lot less worried. But if if we have another year like last year with virtually no snow, then I really,
Yeah, then you have no runoff.
yeah, then I get nervous about trying to make sure that we enter the year high, so we wind up okay at the end.
Yeah, we don't have to open fire hydrants to fill the lake.
Yeah, that would be a good trick.
All right, so if we can move on, there's an item on here, Aquarian water. There was a question sent to me, an email, and there was a gentleman in Connecticut who was worried about the lake being contaminated by the chlorine in the drinking water that Aquarian now puts in the drinking water, which Southwick does too, because Mass DEP requires it. I'm sure Connecticut DEP requires it.
But it's at a pretty small amount.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not like a bleach bottle.
I think it's a complete non-issue.
And that's what I explained.
Yeah, the dose is incredibly low, and then the amount of that winds up in the lake is even less.
It's even less, right?
So no.
Okay, so we can move on to the ramp attendant pay rates. Bottom line on that is for 2021, $14 an hour. That is a quarter, 25 cents over the, again, the minimum wage went up again. It's $13.75.
It's actually 50 cents over.
So at any rate, if there's no issues with it, we need to vote to recommend to the select board, as we did every year.
Okay, that'll be $14 an hour.
Right.
If,
That's correct.
okay,
Mike DeBay, I'll make a motion. We recommend to the select board $14 an hour.
Okay. Do we have
I'll
a
second
second?
it. I'll second it. Scotty seconds it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous. Okay, let me quick run down the names again. Unfortunately, we have to do that. Okay, so we have Norm,
Yes.
Mike Coombs,
Yes,
Mike DeBay,
Yes,
me, yes, Scotty,
Yes,
Eric,
Yes.
Paul.
yes,
Okay, unanimous, as noted. Okay, fiscal year 22 budget. You have all the sheets there. Basically, we were asked to level fund because COVID's still killing everybody. Literally both ways. It's killing budgets, it's killing people. And so what I did is there are a couple places where we went up and down because they're things like electricity, we don't have control over. Water, we don't have control over the rates. And phones, Mike D had a question on the phones. And we increased that for two reasons last year. One was for a cell for Annie. So she has a town cell phone. And the other is for eventually having a cell link to the Weirgate area so that the data logger that's down there can transmit data to the computer at the north ramp.
Mhm.
So we would get canal level, hopefully video too. That's what we're trying to do, but I don't know. SEMA, Southwick Emergency Management, Charlie Dunlap was working on it. Then he got sick, he got injured, and Charlie, Chuck also something happened with his knee. So anyway, and then I was out. So we didn't get to work on it as planned, but that's the intention, is to get that, and all that will be online available. The whole weather station, you'll be able to look at wind, lake level, water temp. What else is on there? Barometric pressure. So SEMA is very interested in having that data because they have another station at Town Hall, and the weather is not the same at the lakes as it is at Town Hall. So anyway, that's, so the budget is essentially on. I also carried the same amount for consultant for Ken. That was cut, as was our buoy budget. I put that back in because we obviously need the buoys. We need Ken. The buoy budget was cut to zero for this past year. We had $0. And we felt that one. We have a lot of crippled buoys. So anyway, we should be whole. We'll fight for keeping the amounts, and when we explain it, guys, the buoys have a limited life. They're not forever, especially when people hit them.
Yeah, right.
So at any rate, unless there's any questions or issues, what we have to do is, again, vote to recommend. We don't pass this, we just recommend it.
Yep.
I got a quick question, Dick. On the buoys, if this is a waterway of the state of, or the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, aren't they supposed to put in the buoy, or paying for the buoys?
They didn't pay for the, what do you call it, treatment, the alum treatment. They have
Yeah.
paid for nothing.
Hmm.
I wouldn't even
Well,
try to
that's-
go there.
that's not unusual, but I think you have a point there that they may be responsible for marking the channels.
That'd be a hard sell.
Yeah, I don't think.
You're probably right.
Not worth the fight,
by
not worth the fight.
By the way, Scotty here, I had promised if I got down to the Miami International Boat Show to look for buoys. Unfortunately, it's been canceled because of COVID. So there is no Miami show this year.
Okay. So anyway, any other questions on the budget?
No.
Do we have
No,
a motion from somebody?
Yeah, Dick, Mike DeBay, I'll make a motion, we accept the budget as written.
Okay. And a second?
I'll second.
Paul, all right. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous. Okay, and I'll run down.
A question on the ramp attendant situation is what's his name now? Paulo is
Paulo is not coming back unless it's a miracle. He retired
yeah.
and we gave him
but
a
I mean,
jacket.
right, but for several years we've been hearing that. Is that really true? Because that's going to create a very big opening.
Right, and we're working that.
Yeah, because I mean, I know one of the issues, because he was very consistent, which was good, but it also meant that other people had a tough time getting enough hours. So in other words, if we're trying to get somebody and they say, yeah, no, this is really going to be your job, then with him there, they really couldn't get the hours.
He is not coming back.
Okay, all right. So then that means that we can talk to people about
Right.
that you can get a lot more hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he cashed in his retirement thing too.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So let's see, that answers that.
Did you want to do a roll call vote
Yeah,
on that?
I gotta do a roll
budget?
call on that. Norm,
Yes.
Mike Coombs,
Yes.
Mike DeBay,
Yes,
me, yes, Scotty,
Yes,
Eric,
Yes.
Paul.
Yes,
Okay, unanimous, confirmed. Okay. Next is the, whoop. Hold on a second, I just flipped too many pages here. Okay, so the next thing that we have in the package, let me just get to the end of that, get to the end of the budget. 141 Congamon Road. There's a new buyer in town
Right.
that wants to buy it. He wants to add a marina as well. He thought he could just do that under the LPP. He thought that the town would love another marina. And Conservation, Dennis and myself have explained what the process is. And, you know, it's not, he also has to have, incidentally, because that building sat unused for, I think it was 2.5 years, something like that. His special permit ran out, which is planning board issues. So he's starting from scratch. And part of the problem is that, again, there's insufficient parking. There's not enough parking if you're going to add a marina. There's not enough parking for the restaurant in the first place. And the plan of the one who was originally going to buy it was to knock it down and build a much smaller high-end restaurant. I don't know what this gentleman's plans are, but he was initially focused on, oh, I'll just put a bunch of docks out there. And so Dennis explained, no, you can't do that. And planning board explained, no, you can't do that. And so he's got a long uphill battle on that one.
Yeah. I mean, I'm presuming, possibly wrongly, hopefully not wrongly, that Conservation Commission would tend to also say, yeah, another marina on the lake is not a good thing. You know,
Right. And I
we
think,
are-
Norm, if you can convey that, and Jerry.
Yeah.
I'm sure we will.
Sure.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
but we already have a more than adequate demand load on the lake for boating. You know,
Yep.
maybe too
I
much.
believe that's all state approval, right? Chapter 91?
Yeah,
Yeah,
with town, and town has to,
yeah, that's what I thought.
Comment on it.
right.
Yeah.
The whole filing includes the town with comments and everything else.
Okay, and
Yeah.
the town, who from the town gets to say something?
Conservation,
that's
select board, it goes
Concom.
to, it has to go to the select board, to conservation. Conservation will include us,
Okay,
and planning
All
board.
okay,
The
And I would
last
think the
time when we
police
did
chief
this
is
for
the
Louis
harbor
B's,
master.
excuse me, the last time we did this for Louis B's, they came back and asked us directly what we thought of and what we thought was a good idea. My recommendation is pretty much the same as we said for Louis B's. They want dock space for patrons of the restaurant, fine.
right.
Right,
This guy's not opening a marina. He's not doing maintenance. He's not doing repairs. All he's doing is renting dock space. And that's
and,
what we
and this
don't
would
need.
not be, this would, if the way it was presented to him, we had no objection to having dock space to service the restaurant, but no overnight boats, just the same thing as Louis B's.
Yep.
I think you're gonna have a hard time with the state on that one.
Why is that?
The state, last time they crossed us up at Louis B's with
That's
that exact
because-
same issue.
That's because the state, I'll explain that, and we had lots of words over this. The letter went, what was approved by the town and by the owners was that it was not going to have any dock rental. And that package went to the state. The state approved it without any of the conditions that the town put on it. Because those were conditions that were signed off by planning board and conservation. So DEP in their infinite wisdom decided to just say, oh yeah, it's okay. And-
Basically, they stripped off the conditions or
Right.
failed to attach the conditions.
So we had long, hard words, and I took that one to the mats all the way to Boston, by the way.
And what happened?
I think somebody got slapped.
Yeah, but I mean, that's dandy, but did they change the situation?
Well, they didn't go back and fix it for Louis B's, but we got to make sure that they do it right for this one.
So Paul makes a good point. We got to pay real close attention to
Yeah.
what goes to the state and what comes out of the state.
Right.
But it sounds like what you're telling me, Dick, is that if the state screws it up again, they're not going to fix it.
Well, I think there's a way to handle that, and I think Dennis and I will work together on it in terms of,
So it's possible that we may have, one thing that the greater we may have done wrong is maybe we said, this is approved with the following exceptions. And maybe the wording should have been, this is not approved unless the following exceptions.
that's good. I like that.
This could even be,
Otherwise, it stops reading it, this is approved. Approved.
this could even be another town bylaw issue, because we would be more constrictive than what the state actually requires.
Right. So that's something to consider in the future. But for now, this was a heads up to everybody. If anybody hears anything, give me a call or give Dennis a call, or both of us, or send an email.
Do you know if he's actually purchased it yet, Dick?
Not that I know of. I will double check. It had not, when I last looked at the property cards.
Okay.
And I mean, I can imagine this is not the time you would think you would open a restaurant.
Oh, God. How to lose money in a hurry.
Right. I mean, I understand the motivation, but sorry, the lakes are beyond capacity in boatload.
Right.
You know,
You can't
Well,
make up your profit.
I think, Eric, he was looking at the 48 docks at 1,500 to 2,000 each, you know, 70 or
Right.
$80 without doing anything.
Right.
Right.
It's a
Exactly.
nice payday.
Yeah,
Right. Except for no. Oh, and you also don't have the parking.
yeah.
Right.
And planning board is so well attuned to that now because they got burned
Mhm.
on the same thing. Their planning board decision got ignored by the DEP.
Okay. All right.
All right, enough said on that one.
And the problem is that once somebody's got that thing from the state, they're gonna go, hey, I got my thing from the state. I'm all
Oh,
done.
yeah. Right.
You know, so, yeah, so we have to, I don't know what we do to prevent the state from doing
Well, I
that.
like your, what you suggested for wording. And also we've got to send it everything with, not just certified mail, but the person that it's addressed to has to sign for it.
Yeah, and maybe at the front of the letter, write, this letter contains 4 pages.
Right.
Page 1 of 4,
Yeah.
page 2 of 4, page
Yeah.
3 of 4. In other words, make it so that if they do that, you've got a legal thing to show and show, look, how much more clear could we possibly be? But I
Yeah.
would definitely recommend the wording being, this is not approved unless the following conditions are met.
Yeah. I really like that. So, the last thing is the annual report. And well, next to the last, the annual report, if everybody had a chance to read it. I know I got, yeah, Eric made some changes in the part about the treatment. And that's nice now. It's nice and tight.
My comment would be on the Southwick DPW assist in the removal of docks and storage of buoys. And I'm not sure you thanked them in there, Dick, for that.
He
Wait a
did.
minute, let's see,
We
plowing.
did.
Yep.
Well, you thanked him for plowing.
Exactly.
All right, so we'll add docks and
Yeah.
buoys.
Yeah,
Yep,
they
got it.
They do a good job.
All right, so I'll add that. And then if that's the case, are we all set with it? Is everybody else set?
Yes,
Yep.
So have a motion from somebody?
I'll make.
I'll make it.
Who's I'll make it?
Me, Paul.
Paul, okay. And a second,
I'll second.
name?
Eric.
Eric, okay. And all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous. I'll go down the list. Okay. Norm,
Yes.
Mike Coombs,
Yes.
Mike DeBay,
Yes.
me, yes. Scotty,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Okay, unanimous, confirmed. Okay. Last thing is pretty much an FYI. The last page that you see, the state public access is going to replace the deck on the fishing pier. It's currently, when it was built with pressure treated lumber. And you know that pressure treated lumber today is not like it was 20 years ago.
It's
And it
'cause they
didn't
took the
last.
architect out.
So they're going to use Epi wood. Ipe, Epi, whatever it's called. It's a Brazilian hardwood,
It's very expensive.
Yeah.
very expensive, and it's basically indestructible.
Boy, our tax dollars are doing good.
It's actually fishing licenses pay
Wow.
for it, and
Yeah.
yeah. So we're very fortunate because they're going to do it. The plans to do it this spring, and that's a good deal. You can see it's roughly $80,000 worth of work.
Well,
If they'll do that, we should all be in favor of it.
Yeah, So we don't have to vote on it. They're just gonna pay
We
for
don't
it.
have to do anything about it.
No,
Right.
they manage it. I just will show up here and there when they're working on it.
Okay.
And I did remind them about the bollard lights that they have to remove and reset when
Yeah.
they put the new deck on. So they have to get an electrician involved.
Yep.
Anything else, anybody?
I see we had a water skier last Sunday.
All right. Hey,
Nice.
find out who that is. I want to get behind his boat.
Wow.
I was amazed.
Apparently I was told that somebody was trying to launch at the North Ramp on Tuesday, I think it was. And there was ice. The only way you could go was kind of meander down. And I remember probably 15 or so years ago, somebody doing that and using their boat like an icebreaker. And they got down
Yeah.
just past us and the engine basically seized. So at any rate, don't
Yeah,
go,
I'd like
trying to push through ice.
I'd like to find out who was out there with his ski boat because I'd definitely like a ride. I'll take a pull. I'd like to ski by that right now.
I did that. I
Well,
did that one year. I did that one year a lot of years ago. Skied on Christmas Day a lot of years ago.
Huh.
I'll do that.
All right. So, anyway, do we have if there's nothing else, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Who was
Motion to
yes?
adjourn. Eric, make a motion
Eric.
to adjourn.
A second.
I'll second it, Scotty.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?